Paper Flowers, Chapter 9. One step forward, two steps back. A cute puppy jumps around in excitement, clearly asking to play, in a grassy field on a sunny day. Dad lays his hands to his heart. "Aw, so cute!" The Dark Lord has his arms crossed, face partially hidden in the shadow of his pulled-up hood. "Pathetic," he scoffs, not even looking. A cat delicately washes her face. Dad gasps. "Elegant!" Nemesis rolls his eye. "Obnoxious." A horse prances around a meadow, hair flowing freely in the wind. Dad stared on in awe and whispered, "Majestic!" Nemesis pinched the bridge of his nose. "Disgraceful!" Suddenly, Dad jumped on a bench and pointed frantically at the ground. "Ah, spider!" he screamed. Nemesis cooed as he knelt down. "Hello there, darling." He gets up, gently petting the massive spider. Dad screams in horror once more. "Well, that was fun," Patton smiled nervously. Virgil looked up at his paternal colleague with a raised brow. The man's body language didn't exactly radiate "I just had fun" energy. "Plastic spider got you spooked, huh?" he mused as he returned his attention to his phone. Thomas just got done filming their characters collab video. Prince's latest very transparent attempt at helping Virgil get along with the others. "A little," Patton admitted. "But still, I get why Roman enjoys making videos with you so much." Virgil suppressed a scoff. There was no real need to point out that it was just Thomas playing caricature versions of them. If Patton wanted to pat himself on the back for this, he wasn't going to burst his bubble. So he just shrugged. "I guess," he muttered, not noticing how Patton lit up at his small victory. "Wonderful work, you two!" Roman beamed as he entered the comments. Okay, so apparently there was a point in pointing out the obvious. Does everyone just forget that it is Thomas who plays his characters? Most we did was toss in a few suggestions. The vine is all yours, Roman. Jeez, Virgil complained, though he gave Roman the smallest hint of a smile. He wasn't sure if Roman had started making an effort to give the others credit since they became friends, or if it was just a part of him Virgil only saw now because he spent some actual time around him without shouting insults at each other. Not to say they hadn't had fights in the past 6 months? Man, time flies. Anyway, their fights could get just as heated as ever. But now, after they stormed off to their rooms to cool down, one or the other would eventually knock on the other's back door with a movie or a snack and an apology. They talk things out and make up. It was much better like this. In the past, when Virgil's anger subsided, he'd start panicking about, well, everything. Not talking about it afterwards, or even acknowledging that a fight had taken place. Yeah, not great. Roman just rolled his eyes. "Whatever you say, Gloomday. But what did you guys think?" he asked, smile back in place. Roman was already feeling good about the day because Virgil had more or less openly complimented him. "It was amazing, Roman. I'm sure the vendors will love it too," Patton gushed. Roman gave a little bow. "Thanks, Padre. Your enthusiasm is appreciated as always." This time Virgil could not contain his snort. "Something funny, Panicati everywhere?" Roman asked, hand on his hips and a brow raised in challenge. "Nice one," Virgil allowed. "It's just, why even bother asking him? You know he's going to sing your praises. You can't sneeze without getting a medal as far as Patton is concerned," he pointed out. "That's not true," Patton protested gently. "Well, what did you think then? Oh, sinister one," Roman asked expectantly, not commenting on the medal thing. Virgil thought about that for a moment. "I guess it was sort of okay. It was rough on Thomas because Dad and Nemesis have very different energy, but he enjoyed it. The Fenders probably didn't expect the Nemesis to interact with other characters, he allowed, trying to sound reluctant. This time he did see that Patton was beaming. He was really getting too soft around the others. "Evening, everyone," Logan greeted as he entered the commons, making Patton get up to get dinner ready, and Virgil contemplate whether he'd have dinner in his room or if he could handle a little more social interaction. "Logan, how did you like today's project? I am 2 for 2 and feeling pretty good, so no need to hold back your criticism," Roman grinned. Logan cast his eyes to Virgil and then to Patton, who nodded, clearly excited to confirm this. "I see. Well, while your intentions were rather transparent, it was a rather good experiment." Virgil sat up confused. Did Logan figure them out? "I don't have any idea what you are talking about," Roman grinned innocently. Logan sighed and adjusted his glasses. "Fine. You run a test to see how the Fenders would respond to the characters loosely based on our personalities interacting. Anxiety and Patton are an interesting first choice. My character and Patton's would have a more natural combined narrative, but it is effective nonetheless. I assume that if this gets positive reviews, you will propose other collaborations as well?" Woman shrugged. "Maybe." Virgil felt kind of bad. Roman had promised to stop pushing the subject after things got to a blow with Patton after the whole Marcus incident. He should have known that he wouldn't intentionally push them together. "Oh, Roman, that's a brilliant idea. That'll definitely help Anxiety feel less nervous about the whole thing. Right, Anxiety?" Patton asked kindly. Virgil shrugged as he got up to set the table. "Just to have something to do." "You guys do whatever. I'm still not on board." He didn't expect them to get it. They represented what people liked about Thomas. His intelligence, creativity, humor, kindness, passion. He was, as far as everyone was concerned, what hurt Thomas. And yes, he overdid it. A lot. He had tried to be better, honestly, but he couldn't help who he was. "We'll see about that, Dominator. I will win you over. Just you wait. But what did you think, Logan?" Roman insisted, pulling Virgil out of his thoughts. "Well, until we have more data, it's hard to say," Logan started, but then he stopped to ponder. Roman was actively asking for feedback. He had even stated that he could handle it if it wasn't entirely positive. Maybe he should reward that effort with some of his own. "Though, while I usually would stick with facts, if it is my personal opinion you are seeking," an eager nod from Roman confirmed this. "Well, here goes. You all know I am not most in tune with emotions and artistic endeavors. That being said, you did well. The classic broken pattern and the recurring theme of closing off a video including Anxiety and any other character with some form of screaming will almost certainly be well received by the fans." Roman was beaming. He had more or less expected someone to criticize the skit in some way, but they all had really thought it was good. Maybe the Center Side series could actually happen. "Dinner's ready. Thank you for helping out, Anxiety," Patton said pleasantly. Virgil looked down at the table and found he'd finished setting for 4. "Guess he'll be staying for dinner." He sat across from Patton, with Roman to his right and Logan to his left. Roman was brainstorming out loud while they ate dinner, occasionally encouraged by Patton or redirected by Logan when he veered off topic. Once or twice Virgil even would mutter a teasing remark, which had Roman pouting dramatically and the Specs trying to hide their amusement. It was nice. Almost normal. He should have known then that something was heading his way. "What do you say, Florida Girl? Underrated Disney movie night?" Roman asked as they put away the dishes. Virgil was honestly tempted. Almost all his favorites were in that category, which Roman knew. They'd argued about the best movies often enough. But if he started, he might lose track of time. "I have made you all suffer through enough of me, I think. I'm going to head down, see what the others are up to. Thomas was more or less dozing off in front of the TV. He should be fine going down. Maybe he could ask Jay for a movie night of their own. Night, he waved as he made his way to the door to below. Suddenly he felt someone tug at his hoodie. He looked back, expecting Roman, but it was Patton, looking at him with big, shocked eyes. You'll be back though, right? We really don't mind you staying. You don't have to. Virgil raised his hands. Whoa, calm down. What made you think I was going to go back? Permanently, I mean. Patton looked away, letting go of his shirt and started fidgeting with his hands. That told Virgil enough. He looked up to Roman and Logan. What did the seed do? Roman got ready to speak, but Logan beat him to it. About a week ago, after we first discussed Roman Sanders' side's idea, he made a brief appearance. He implied that he might take you back in if we didn't do a better job of handling you. Roman and I already assured Patton that Janice has no such power without our aid, but he apparently had not been convinced. Virgil glanced at Roman, who nodded to confirm that this was how things had played out. He let out a sigh. I can't believe this guy. I'll be right back. Before anyone could say anything, he rushed down the stairs, his thoughts racing. Was this the first time Janice had tried to guilt the others into being his friends? Had Roman... No, he couldn't start down that path. Not yet, anyway. Janice! He called out as he entered the living room. Virgin! Grimace greeted excitedly. Virgil gave the chaotic gremlin he'd grown up with a quick wave. Leave us for a sec, Grimace, he growled, not looking away from the yellow-clad side. Janice walked up to Remus, looking at Virgil with confusion. Why don't you go hunt something for breakfast, Remus? Janice suggested. Remus didn't need any more prompting than that. A second later, they were alone. Virgil, what's the matter? Virgil quirked a brow. What do you think? Why could I possibly be mad at you? He asked, wanting to give Janice a chance to fess up himself. Janice took in his body language and expression. This was not the fury he'd expect if he'd somehow discovered Janice had been in his room when he wasn't there. So that left... Did the lights really tell on me? I huffed, trying to hide how worried that made him. He had no clue about the context. What did Virgil think happened? No, I said I was planning on hanging out with you guys tonight, with plenty of my usual self-deprecating humor, and Patton was worried I was planning on staying away. I figured you had something to do with that. Logan told me what happened because I asked, Virgil clarified. Now I want to hear your side. The truth, Jay. Please. He really hoped the explanation wouldn't be as heartbreaking as the one in his head. Janice took in a deep breath. Okay, but promise we'll stay on topic. No evading, no beating around the bush. Virgil nodded in agreement. Janice studied his face for a moment, until he was satisfied with what he saw. Okay. Virgil, you have been disappearing. I tried to check up on you a few times in the past few months, and you were just gone. I allowed you to go upstairs because I thought it would be better for you. But if they are erasing you, I needed them to at least try to keep you. I didn't know what else to do. Virgil groaned and pinched the bridge of his nose. I'm going to skip over the fact that you obviously entered my room while I was out, for now. He took a deep breath. It wasn't a surprise, really. Janice and Remus both always just appeared in his room when they wanted to speak with him. So of course Janice had occasionally popped in to find it empty. I was probably in the imagination, Virgil confessed. Why? How? Janice asked, shocked. Roman gave me a little meadow to relax. Like 5 months ago, I think. Not too long after the Princess vs. Nemesis video started. I go there when I need a break. Janice stammered for a few seconds before letting out an utterly perplexed, "Why?" That hurt a little. Was it that hard to believe? He only said he felt like giving me something. Maybe it was because I gave him some constructive criticism earlier, and he wanted to try a positive reinforcement. You know he always overdoes everything, Virgil explained. There wasn't a single lie in his statement, so Janice believed him. But he's not supposed to know. Janice clasped her hands in front of his mouth, realizing he said that out loud. What is woman not supposed to know? Virgil growled. Janice took a small step back. Before I sent you upstairs, I told Patton and Logan that I was planning, and why. I wanted to be sure they'd look after you. Virgil nodded. That made sense. Why was woman not supposed to know that? Janice couldn't look at Virgil. I told them I was worried what it would do to Thomas if you didn't move to a less stressful environment. I wasn't sure if Roman would be helpful or even more wary of you, so I blocked even the thought of telling Roman about our conversation from their minds. Virgil was silent for a few moments. Somehow he felt a lot better about everything now. It all made so much more sense. Unblock it then, he muttered as he turned around. Virgil, unblock it. I'll see you guys next week or something. Maybe. She had meant well after all. Right? Virgil! Janice called after him, but he was already halfway the upper commons. When he walked in, Roman, Logan and Patton were standing there waiting for him. Janice lied, so you don't have to pretend anymore. And you should be able to tell Roman, he said, hands in his pockets, leaning casually against the doorframe, his old walls back in place. It was better that way. Anxiety, kiddo, no, you... Just drop it, Virgil hissed in his tempest tongue. The briefest glimpse of his feral form was enough to make Patton stagger backwards into Logan. Roman was reaching out though. He was still on Virgil's side. I was getting sick of all this sappy family stuff anyway, he scoffed before leaving for his room. Roman stormed into the meadow, ready to break down Virgil's door if he had to. Virgil hadn't knocked, not even once, but he couldn't be left alone with his thoughts now. He was barely 2 steps inside when he spotted Virgil sitting there, a crown of purple daisies in his hands. You came, the anxious man breathed in relief. Roman sat down next to him, careful to keep enough distance, but also be within reach. Of course, he said gently. They both knew he wanted to defend Patton and Logan, to assure Virgil that they never did what they did because they feared he would be pushed to the edge and hurt Thomas in the fallout. Virgil had to explain to him that his discomfort around Patton was due to feeling like the moral side saw him as a ticking time bomb. The reason for that was painfully obvious now, but how to make Virgil see that Patton was more distant than he wanted to be, instead of more welcoming? I knew it was all too good to be true. The bubble was bound to burst. I told myself not to get too attached, cause it would end up hurting. I didn't realize. Not until earlier. My room is almost back where I started, Roman. I literally pushed him away, and I thought I'd pushed you away too. Roman could tell Virgil had been crying. Preposterous! I'm much too stubborn to get rid of that easily, he assured Virgil. The darker side cracked a smile at that. I'm glad I was wrong about that. Roman nodded. Virgil told him how much he hated being right. Did I ruin movie night? Virgil wondered tensely. Well, I don't know about Logan and Patton, but you and I are going to watch all those tragically underrated Disney movies. And with a wave of his hand, Roman set up an outdoors movie theater, complete with snacks. The sky darkened and Virgil was handed the movie menu. He smirked as he looked it over. Roman really did have to overdo anything, including distracting him. It was appreciated though. Later, Virgil would discover that his room was moved just a few feet closer to the upper level again.